Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. I just wanted to come on here and have a little chat about how to change the world. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Obviously, the world is a freaking shit show, right? And all of it comes down to love, right? And how we can actually bring more love to the world. And the reality is, hey everyone, the reality is we've been conditioned in this world with conditional love, right? Not unconditional love. And this truly is going to be the biggest shift that we can make on an individual level in order to be able to shift the world, right? Because if we've been conditioned under conditional love, that may look like judgment, it may look like criticism, it may look like projecting shit onto other people, it may look like us being critical with ourselves or judgmental with ourselves. And where does this lead us? It leads us exactly where we are right now, right? And that's exactly what's happening when we look at the outer world, that bigger version of what's going on in the Ukraine and Canada and the States and globally in Australia and New Zealand and in Paris and everywhere that's going on in the world that has this big uprising of what's going on within our governmental systems and all of these big things. It's just all being exposed, right? And we're in this big time of transition right now. And when we can understand that our outside world is simply just, it's showing us what's going on within, we can start having more compassion with ourselves. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more, because even when we look at what's going on over in Russia and Ukraine, like, it is unimaginable what's happening there right now. You know, it's like, how is this happening? How is this still a thing? Right? Does anybody else like feel that way, where you're like, how is this still going on, man? How have we not figured out how to come to this place of love and inner peace quite yet? Right? But this is just showing us what's going on within. And when we talk about shadow work or the parts of ourselves that we don't love or all this inner work, that's exactly what this is. It's all coming to light, right? So even in our external world, all of this stuff is coming to light, which just means that it is ready to be shifted. It's ready for change. And that's the exact same thing with what happens inside of ourselves, right? I was just having a chat with a client of mine before coming on here, and she was sharing with me how she's normally very, has a really good self-image, and currently she was having these thoughts again of criticizing herself and judging herself, and was a little bit down. And I reminded her about how life is a spiral, right? We a lot of the time think that things are very linear in life, and that things, like, once we kind of overcome a certain challenge in our life, that it's just, we've overcame it and then it's never going to come back, right? So for this example of like body image or our image of ourselves, we can come to that place where we're feeling super good and like amazing with ourselves, but then we also then have those ebbs, right? Where we maybe are more self-conscious, right? And it's normal, right? Instead of thinking of things as a linear thing, which we've been conditioned as well to feel that way, where we have goals of our physical goals, our mental goals, our spiritual goals, and we put things into boxes. But that's not the way life works, right? So even when it comes to our self-image, things work in spirals, right? We learn certain lessons and then we integrate them. And then something else will come up, and then we learn from that experience, and then we integrate it, and things work in a spiral. And to kind of explain that process to you as well, when the shit is coming up, when the self-doubt, when the shadow stuff comes up in our life, the reason why it's coming up is because you're ready to shift it, right? It's exact same, like I said, about what's going on in Ukraine and everything over there right now. It's coming up because it is ready to be shifted. The world is ready to transmute this stuff and move forward, so we can continue ascending to where we're meant to go as a collective on the planet right now, okay? So it's the exact same thing for us. So when this stuff comes up, it's just saying, okay, yep, here it is, take a look at it. Everything inside of us always wants to be seen, heard, and understood. So when this stuff comes up, i.e. those stories that we tell ourselves of, I'm not good enough, or certain things about ourselves that we criticize, then these things are just there so that we can find love and nurture them, right? And what that may sound like, so if something comes up, right? It may look like just writing it down and say, I am, let me think of something that's kind of came up for me recently about like not taking enough action. That's been something that comes up for me a lot of the time. It's like, you should be doing more, right? So just being able to see that and be like, hey, well, like, why do I feel like I should be doing more? Or why am I not accepting myself in this now moment, right? And how can I have more compassion for myself and acknowledge myself in that specific moment, right? And that's something that as you kind of have things come up in your life, when all of these doubts and stuff, like pause and take a moment and just be with yourself, right? And when we can actually, that's why journaling is a big thing, because if you actually take it and put it on paper and you just sit with yourselves, sometimes it can feel uncomfortable in your body. And if you're feeling uncomfortable in your body, I just invite you to just tune back into your breath, because as we do that, then it just kind of allows us to be able to integrate all of that heaviness, and it dissipates within our body and it gets more expansive. So just being able to take that big deep breath, and it will create that expansiveness again in our bodies, right? And so all of this stuff kind of comes and goes, and it's totally like a normal thing of life. Hi, so excited you're on here. And so to go back to the whole how we can change from the conditional love into unconditional love, is it kind of like, it starts with us, right? If you believe in a higher power or something greater than yourself, a God, spirit, the universe, everything happens for a reason, anything, believing in something greater than yourself is that unconditional love. And here as humans, when we tap into that greater thing that is there, that is always loving us unconditionally, right? Your spirit guides, your angels, God, all of these things, they don't care, you know, like they're like, humans are doing their best down there, you know, like they are doing their freaking best. Even when we're freaking fumbling around, we're overwhelmed, we're like, oh, what's going on? We're crying, we're doing all of this crazy stuff. They're like, wow, you are doing so good. You're doing so good, right? So when we can learn to take that energy of unconditional love and give it to ourselves, this is how we're going to change the world, right? But it starts with us. And a lot of the time, it's very easy for us, and I know I do this in business all the time. I'm like, let's jump to the big world issues. Who else does that? Or you're like, I want to fix all the big world issues, or your attention just naturally goes to all the big shit that's going on in the world. But you have no way to change that. And it's a distraction. It's a distraction, right? So in order to change the world, we're not focusing on that big shit. We're individually focusing on what's going on inside of us. And that's where all of this change is happening, is within us. Because if you think about, if everything in this world is frequency, okay? Everything in this world is frequency. Your frequency matters a lot more than you would ever give yourself credit for. If you actually knew how much your internal frequency actually mattered, you would probably be focusing on yourself more, right? But we've been conditioned to, it's selfish. It's selfish to do that. Don't you do that. You dirty little thing, you, focusing on yourself. How dare you, right? But when we can actually do that, that's how we're going to shift the frequency, which then in turn, when I am feeling good, it radiates to you guys. It radiates to the people that I love. It radiates to the random person in the grocery store that I smile at and say hello to. How's your day been? Right? It radiates out to this person and this person and this person. And when all those people are feeling more uplifted, what happens when you are feeling more uplifted and you're in a higher frequency state or a higher vibration? You naturally want to give that to the world. It's a natural thing, right? So that's how it's going to change. And when we can learn to bring in this sense of unconditional love to ourselves, oh my gosh. And we have to have compassion with ourselves. We have to be patient with ourselves. We haven't been taught this shit, guys. Like, we haven't been taught how to love unconditionally. This is something that we as a species are learning, right? We're learning how to love unconditionally. And like I said, the only way we're going to learn that is from our higher power, which means your connection to something greater. How often are you spending time speaking with your higher power, saying prayer, connecting with that higher self or higher being whatever it is that you believe in. And in reality, it doesn't matter what we believe in. We can all believe in different things. I can believe in a purple elephant that gives me my advice that is coming from that place of higher good. You know, it doesn't matter what it actually looks like in the physical when we're describing it. It's just the fact that there is something greater out there that is always loving me unconditionally, is always cheering me on, always supporting me, right? And a great way to be able to tap into that is through meditation, right? That's why all of the most successful people in the world, and when I look at success, I look at people that are happy and thriving and energetic and vibrant, right? I don't look at somebody who is a $1 million earner or $1 billion earner, because sometimes those are the most unhappy people that you'll ever meet, right? They've learned how to crack the code of finances, yet they haven't cracked the code of their own happiness, right? So really like tapping into that higher source to be able to bring that into yourself, right? Because if you think about, if that is energy, a frequency of unconditional love, if we are to bring that into our body, our physical body has to integrate that. It has to learn how to hold that new frequency, right? How many times have you been feeling really good and you're like, I feel like I should be somewhere else. Or I feel like this feels wrong. I feel like I shouldn't be feeling this way, right? It's just because your physical body hasn't integrated that new frequency yet. So it's not that you shouldn't be somewhere. You're exactly where you're meant to be, and you should be enjoying that. However, it's like that for me personally, I just say, thank you so much, body. I appreciate you. Thank you for holding this frequency, you know, and remind yourself like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And then that way, like I know when I was getting into entrepreneurship and I would have a lot more time in my days after I quit being a paramedic, I would have so much time in my days and I'd be sitting there working, and then I would go to do something else and I would always feel like I had to be working because I was so used to working 12, 14-hour days at work that when it came to me just sitting and being and reading a book, I was like, what the fuck? I can't do this. I feel like I should be doing something. I would go clean the house. I would go do other stuff, right? But just reminding our bodies that it's okay. It's okay to feel this way, right? And that unconditional love, loving ourselves as is. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Loving ourselves as is. So with this, I'm going to end this off because I could probably just stay on here and rant about this stuff because I just love it so much. But yeah, how can you start channeling more unconditional love into your life? How can you connect more with your higher power, with your higher self, with your higher connection, so you can start having more love and compassion for yourself? And how can you also allow that to then from that place ripple out to the people around you, your friends, your family, your community, and the outward world? Right? Because that's how we're going to change everything that's going on in the world, is from that place of compassion and having that filter through all of the systems that we have, the healthcare system, the financial system, everything. You know, like this planet needs some serious work. It needs some serious work, right? If we really want to shift out of this place of fear and conditional love and come into this place of unconditional love, then... And it does always trickle back. Yeah, Shelby, I'm so happy you're on here. Hello. Yeah, and it always does trickle back. You know, it's a give and receive. I don't know what it's, infinity, the infinity symbol, where it's literally like give and receive. What we give to ourselves is what also we can give to the world. And what we allow ourselves to receive, then we allow ourselves to receive. Right? So it's that give and take. And when it comes to unconditional love as well, like I know for me personally, it's been a big thing to actually be able to receive love. Oh, I'm very good at giving love. Very, very good. But then when I don't receive it, then I hold resentments for people for not giving me love, even though they've been giving me love the whole time. I just didn't know how to receive it. You've ever dealt with that one? That's a fun one to deal with. You're like, you're not loving me. When in reality, it's like, no, Laura, you're not receiving the love. You are not receiving the love. And that's why it always mirrors back to us with what is actually going on. So instead of pointing the blame on other people, you can start pointing it back at us and having love, right? So relatable. Having love and compassion with ourselves. And quit going to those big world problems. Let them be. Let them simmer. In reality, we can't really trust any of the information that's out there right now. Who knows whether it's true or not? We don't. The only thing we have control over right now is our own state of being, right? The thoughts we've got in our head, the emotions we're feeling, the people we surround ourselves with, what we're doing on our daily basis. Are they aligned, right? Great energy. Oh, I'm so happy you're on here. Hi. So what is it that you can do that's within your control to start shifting yourself in a positive direction? And how will you allow that to ripple out to the world? Right? Yeah, positive vibes only. And the thing is, it's not about positive vibes only, right? Because we need the low frequency things. Like without this polarity, we wouldn't even know what the heck a high frequency thing is, right? If we didn't have these lower frequency things of shame, of guilt, of apathy, of anger, of pride, guilt, like we wouldn't even know what these higher frequency things are of love and peace and joy and enlightenment, right? We wouldn't even know. And all of those, there's so much that I could talk about when it comes to emotions, because that's like the work that I do for work in my business. But every emotion has a specific reason why we experience it. We just haven't been taught what they actually fucking mean. And I tell you, when you start understanding what they actually mean, for this book, Clear Your Shit, I would suggest reading it. It actually goes along Dane Thomas, who created the spiral, which is the emotional clearing modality that I use. He wrote this book. And in there, he has this list of all of the different emotions. And once you start understanding what these emotions actually mean and muscle testing into your body with what emotions are being just trapped in your body, and then you read the emotion, you're like, holy fuck, yeah, that's definitely resonates, you know? And then we can actually start understanding a deeper level of what's going on within us and start making changes in our lives. And I'll share this one thing, and I'm gonna read the comments and stuff, but this really shifted me, and I know that a lot of my clients have found big shifts with this as well when I explain this to them about anger. Who here has had lots of anger lately? Anybody? I know it can't just be me, but over the last year, lots of anger. So what does anger actually mean? Hi, Samantha. What does anger actually mean? It just means that you have perceived boundaries that have been crossed. And the key thing with this is perceived boundaries. And that's where things get tricky, because how many times is your mind fucking creating stories that isn't even fucking made up from anything factual? And you're crossing your own fucking boundaries in your head over and over and over again, creating more fucking rage and more anger. Right? A lot of the time we fucking do it to ourselves. And understanding this stuff was huge, because whenever I'm feeling angry now, I'm like, okay, what boundary's been crossed? Or what boundary do I perceive has been crossed? Sometimes it literally is just my mind making shit up, and I can call myself out on it. Right? Like maybe somebody does something that I'm just kind of like, I don't understand their behavior or their action. So then my brain creates a story that they did this or they did that, when in reality, or their intention is this or their intention is that. In reality, my mind is just going back to some past experience that happened to me, and it's bringing that into the present moment when there's no factual evidence that that is even true in this moment. Right? Like literally, it's so complex being a human, so we need to have more patience with ourselves. So I'm just going to read through these comments here. So Shelby says, really relinquishing control of other people and events and focusing on my reactions to them has given me a better mindset for sure. Yeah, massive, eh? And it's so normal for us to, like, when we are uncomfortable in our own bodies and our own emotions, that we want to control other people and control other things because it's easier. And it's honestly just the way we've been conditioned to deal with shit. You know, what did our parents do? They literally, like, they didn't even know what was going on inside of them, and they literally just controlled us based off of their perceived way that they felt like they should be parents. And that's how we learned. So we learned and we picked this up, and that's the thing, it's nobody's fault. It's just where humanity's at and what we're moving through. We're releasing this control, and we're learning how to be sovereign beings, understanding that we don't fucking need a governmental body to tell me what's right and wrong. Like, we fucking know. Like, I don't need you to tell me that I can't go and murder somebody. You know, yes, there are people that do obviously need that because there are still murderers and stuff in the world, right? But it's like these people don't need to be locked up in a jail cell for how many years. They need rehabilitation. They've likely had severe trauma in their childhood that has programmed them and conditioned them to be who they are and having these behaviors and actions, right? It's just like pedophiles and all of these things. It's like these people are very severely sick people. They likely experienced this in their childhood and it happened to them and they need rehabilitation. Like the whole world needs rehabilitation. It's just at different severities that we need it. That was a rant, but high frequency things is much vibrations per second. Yeah. It's so cool when you think about, I always think about this, like how our physical bodies, they look physical. But in reality, like remember in science class and they're like all these like neutrons and electrons and protons and they're all just vibrating little energy things. It's like, yo, that's what we're fucking made out of. Like how cool is that? We're literally made out of that shit. And it looks like things look physical, but it's not. Like it's made out of so many different things and it's so cool. And all of it is energy. It's all energy. Divine rage, yes, baby. So good. Shelby, the stories, I know, right? Hi, Faber, excited you're on here. Hi, Melissa. Yeah, so that was my little rant on unconditional love and how we can start bringing that more into our lives so that we can change the world in the outside. But just to kind of recap on that, fucking do you and focus on you and don't feel bad for it. You know, do the things that bring you happiness. You know, like say no to the things that don't. Set boundaries. Because in order to say yes to more things, we need to first clear out space. We only have so much freaking energy, like we only have so much storage in our energetic fields, right? Oh, hi, Samantha. I love this subject. You're flowing and I miss your face. Oh, I love you too. Yeah, we should definitely catch up. I'll send you a message after I'm off here and we can set something up. But I'm so happy you're on here. Yeah, so like our energetic fields, like we can only hold so much in there. And also with the emotional clearing, you can literally clear up the energy in your energetic field. That's why it's like, I think of it as like a bandwidth. The bandwidth that I now have because I've done emotional clearing is insane. Hi, Haley. Insane. The shit that I can do, I'm like, me 5 years ago, I would have been overwhelmed and fucking losing my shit. It wouldn't even been possible for me to do what I'm doing today because the bandwidth has increased. That's why all of this shit just makes like the biggest difference in our life. Yes, we definitely, yeah. And everybody has different capacities, which comes down to also the unconditional love piece, right? Because when we are assuming everybody's bandwidth is the exact same as ours, it's fucking not, right? It's not. It's not like the same at all. And when we expect or put expectations on other people that they're going to be able to do the same things as we can do, or we put ourselves down for not being able to do what other people can do, this is where we come into problems, right? We come into problems and we got to sort out our own shit again. So it's a constant like freaking cycle, guys. And we just got to be nicer to ourselves. And that's it. Does anybody have anything else they want to share before I peace out? Going for a walk with my friend Vic. And I'm so excited because I haven't seen her in quite a while. We're going to take the dog to the dog park. But if nobody else has anything they want to share in the comments, thank you for being live on here with me, guys. I love you guys so much. I'm going to start doing this more often. And on Reignite Your Soul Collective, if you're not following that page yet, I'm going to be going live every Monday. I haven't quite nailed down a time yet because I'm kind of flow with life and I don't like things inconveniencing my days. So it's just kind of random on Mondays so far, but awesome. Okay. Well, I love you guys. I'm so proud of you for just being here and being you and bringing your light and your darkness and everything to the world. You're exactly perfect as you are. Oh, you're so welcome. And yeah, I will see you guys soon time. Bye. Mwah.